A2 Creative Critical Reflection. Question number 1. How does your product represent social groups or issues? The short film, The Countdown, represents multiple social groups of students and authority figures. The representation of university students and young adults is done particularly through Adam Holt, who is portrayed as intelligent, analytical, and academically successful, which challenges the stereotype that criminals are easily identifiable. His character also shows how trauma can exist behind a calm or intelligent exterior. On the other hand, Detective Will Barbas represents law enforcement and authority as he is shown not as corrupt, but as human and imperfect, a flawed being, which demonstrates how institutions can fail through carelessness or lack of attention. This film explores several real-world issues such as bullying and its psychological impact, mental health struggles, and institutional neglect where teachers, mentors, and authority figures ignore signs of distress. This is shown through the backstory of Adam when the audience learns that his sister Amelia experienced prolonged bullying from her classmates and no one, not her teachers, not her mentors, helped her, due to which she killed herself. Through this narrative, the audience gets a message that ignoring emotional suffering can lead to serious consequences. It encourages them to think about responsibility and empathy within the society. Question number 2. How do the elements of your production work together to create a sense of branding? In this short film, multiple elements work together to create a sense of branding, such as titles, themes, visual style, sound and symbolism, consistency of tone, etc. The title, The Countdown, creates a strong central concept as the idea of numbers counting down links directly to the serial killings and the ticking clock motif. In terms of visual style, the low-key lighting creates a dark and tense atmosphere consistent with crime thrillers, while the location of each scene, such as offices, classroom, and investigation spaces, reinforces the investigative theme of the film. In terms of sound and symbolism, the ticking sound in the background symbolizes time running out, building suspense, while the dialogue focuses on psychological analysis and investigation, which reinforces the film's identity as a mystery thriller. The film also maintains a serious and suspenseful tone throughout, as all elements, lighting, dialogue, pacing, and narrative contribute to the same dark investigative style. This consistency creates a recognizable brand identity as a mystery thriller. Question number 3. How does your product engage with the audience? In this short film, audience engagement is achieved through the narrative structure and the use of mystery and suspense. This film begins with a murder investigation, causing the audience to become curious, while the numbered victim introduces an enigma, inviting the audience to piece together the investigation alongside the detective Will. Adam, the antagonist, is initially presented as an helpful intern, and as the plot unfolds, subtle behavioral clues suggest his involvement in the murders. This builds tension as the audience begins to question his motives. Moreover, this film also uses a cliffhanger ending where the confrontation between Will and Adam, the protagonist and antagonist, ends abruptly. This unresolved ending encourages viewers to think about what happens next. It also reflects the ambiguity of the film's theme, suggesting that justice is rarely clear-cut as shown in typical crime thrillers. Question number 4. How did your research inform your products and the way they use or challenge conventions? Before filming, I researched conventions commonly used in crime and psychological thriller films, which include investigative narratives, detective protagonists, dark lighting, and suspenseful atmosphere, all of which I included in my own short film, The Countdown. This film uses several typical thriller elements such as a detective solving a serial killer case and the gradual discovery of the killer's identity. These conventions help the audiences quickly understand which genre the short film is based on. This film also challenges typical genre conventions as instead of presenting the killer as a stereotypical villain, Adam is portrayed as an intelligent and emotionally complex person who is part of an investigative system. Moreover, the narrative of this short film focuses more on psychological motivation rather than violence, which creates a more realistic and morally ambiguous plotline. This film is also influenced by real social issues, as research into bullying and mental health influence Adam's backstory. This creates a sense of realism in the plot and makes the story feel more grounded and socially relevant. In conclusion, the short film The Countdown combines crime thriller conventions with social commentary as it explores the effects of trauma, neglect, and justice. Through elements like low-key lighting, investigative settings, suspenseful dialogue, etc., the film creates a consistent tone and identity while engaging audience through mystery and a cliffhanger ending. Research into crime thriller conventions and real social issues has helped shape the narrative and the characters, which allows the film to both challenge and follow typical genre expectations. Overall, this project allowed me to develop my understanding of storytelling, genre conventions, and audience engagement.